what I was going to ask you. Do you have any like horror stories where that comes to door knocking or maybe getting ran off a property you do have permission to?
Yeah, I can think of a couple right off the top of my head. In fact, here's 3 scenarios right here that are pretty crazy. 2 of them are permissions, and one of them is actually a dead deer. The first one that I can remember, well, you know what? There's another dead deer. I'm just going. I've never told this before, but I'm gonna tell it because it's pretty sad.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Hunter's Advantage podcast. Today I'm joined by my co-host, Jacoby Gaylord, Jake Gaylord, David Gaylord, the man of many names. How's it going, man?
Man, the myth, but not the legend. It's going good. Been a little busy. I know we were talking about it before we jumped on here about just all the family ordeals around Christmas time. So on the date of release, this should be coming out the Monday after Christmas. So for those listening, I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and got to spend a lot of time with some family. Hopefully Santa came, brought some coal, all that good stuff. But what you been doing here lately?
Dude, nothing. Watching people shoot my target buck across the fence.
Yeah.
I went out the other day to go hunt on that little suburban piece that I've been hunting, and they drove about 80 yards away from me to work on a water pump. And I was like, man, it's 80 degrees. It's December 20th. What am I doing? So I went over there and I pulled both my cameras, and we're going to have a really good attitude for Christmas. So late season here is basically just hot season. It's just October all over again.
You don't have any cameras out for like hogs or anything?
I do on a couple pieces, but no, not really. To be fair, I'm in pretty bad spirits. Jake and Morgan have a baby shower in January, so I'm going to go up there and try to whack some does during that time period, but that'll probably be my last hunt of the year. We're going to go up to Colorado and ski over the break. So
that'd be fun.
Yeah, hopefully not break anything.
Fun. No, hey. Can you actually ski? Or I mean, I ain't trying to drag that on too long, but
yeah, no, I can ski. First few years I was a liability, dude. You don't want me near anyone. Like little kids would come running by, I'm like, get away. But now I can ski pretty good. Yeah, just enough to be dangerous.
Well, that's good. No, man, I think 3 out of my 4 cell cams that I have on that private piece are all dead. I mean, I just got to go out there and swap the batteries, but the only thing I've been getting out there is just does and hogs. Like I haven't gotten one good buck that I would, punch my second tag on. So it's like, I'm just going to switch it to hog hunting now, which there's some pretty good ones out there, dude. They got some kahunas. Like whenever they turn right for the camera, they're all there. But yeah, I plan on getting out and trying to at least shoot a couple of those. But who we got for today?
Yeah, so we got a cool guest on for today. We got Jay Maxwell from 4610 Productions. So should be a really cool episode. A good way to kind of end the year, I guess, for guests. So we'll bring him in. How's it going, man?
What's up, guys? Glad y'all have me.
Yeah, heck yeah. What's going on in your neighborhood, I guess, down south here?
What's not going on? It's like a zoo this time of the year.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, I know everybody's listening right now has already had a Christmas, and Merry Christmas to y'all. And I hope it was a good one to remember Jesus' birth. It's the main reason we were here. But yeah, chaos right now. This is before Christmas. A couple days. What is today? 22nd? 22nd? Something like that. Yep. So yeah, it's a lot going on. In fact, I'm on the road right now, and I pulled over to Zaxby's so we can finally do this. Something I've been wanting to do with you guys for a while, and I just really do appreciate you having me on here.
Yeah, man, it's chicken. It's not the Lord's chicken, though.
Yeah, so that's right.
That's right. I don't know. Zaxby's Nibbler Meal. I used to get that all the time in college, and like that kept me afloat.
Dude, it's awesome. I mean, college. Back in college when I was there, we had a place called Guthrie's, and Guthrie's Chicken, man, in Athens. That's where it was at. And I don't know if Guthrie's even exists anymore. Maybe a few in Alabama, but not around here. But yeah. Zaxby's now. So
they're taking over. They're taking over, man. Well, I saw that. I saw you were recently in Oklahoma. I was texting you a couple weeks ago, and you were on a trip here. Did you have a good trip in Oklahoma? That's kind of the mother for Jake and I.
Yeah. So the Oklahoma thing's first time I've actually ever hunted Oklahoma was this year, and I started in turkey season, and I hunted Kansas first, and then I dropped down from Kildeburg, Kansas, dropped down to Oklahoma. And, of course, you guys, nobody's seen that episode yet. They'll all air this coming early spring before season comes in. But absolutely fell in love with the state. I don't know if it was just where we were or what, but the amount of wildlife we saw, just the Airbnb we stayed in, we chose a really good one that happened to be in the country on 300 acres. And then, we did some door knocking. We had some friends out there, and it was just absolutely incredible. And I'm talking about just literally riding dirt roads and seeing the amount of deer and then turkeys, strutting in the roads, and then even road runners running down the road, and maybe, just the rabbits and stupid stuff just everywhere. And I was like, this place is, I just fell in love with it. So naturally I was like, we're coming back here and we're going deer hunting. And my number one goal for going to Oklahoma, it's you can obviously bow hunt any state, but it's a rifle state too. So I had my dad on my brain, and I really, really, really wanted to take my dad somewhere to have an opportunity to kill a whitetail over 125 inches, because he's never killed one over 125 inches, and you would think my dad, out of all people, would have done that, and he just, wrong place, wrong time, or didn't happen, or just whatever, dumb luck, I'll call it. But very fortunate, man. We had a great trip the first afternoon. I called in a really nice deer for him. He killed him 148 inches, and that episode will drop probably right around Christmas is when we're going to drop it. But it was his best deer ever. I got emotional about it, man. It was just something to be with my dad's 76 years old, about to turn 77, and it was just very, very sentimental. The whole thing, the way it all went down, and hopefully all you guys will get to see that, because it's going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. Did you end up getting anything in Oklahoma, or just your dad lay down a big one?
No, number one thing was to buy him a buck tag, and then let him kill one. And then I was going to scout for ducks, in which that was great because Dad got done early. So we literally rode around for the next 2 mornings and 2 afternoons looking for ducks. Most people don't know I'm a big duck hunter too. I love it. I absolutely love duck hunting. Unfortunately, living in Georgia, you just, we're not on a flyway. You want to kill some wood ducks on a swamp? Sure. But, take advantage of it when I'm out there. So I got to see the migration had not dropped down yet. By the time we were there, they should have, and they were not there. Not cold enough up north to push them down. We saw anywhere that was set up, like if somebody had designed a duck swamp somewhere, or not a swamp, I don't know, a habitat area for ducks to come to. They had birds. There was a fair amount of geese that had come in, but we ended up with one spot. It was the split season when we got there, so it technically didn't even open until Saturday morning. Dad killed his deer Wednesday afternoon, so we scouted Thursday, Friday, and had one really good spot to hunt Thursday morning. And gosh, I bet you I had 300 green winged teal come inside 20 yards on a creek. That was absolutely incredible, and we actually already dropped that episode. It was really cool, but we killed a lemon teal, and I think 3 or 4 mallards, something like that. So we had a ball. I mean, it was just awesome to see that. But yeah, that's all I did. I went to call Dad and a deer and duck hunt, so it was profitable.
That's awesome. So are you kind of like hanging the bow up for the year, or are you?
No, I absolutely love late season, man. I do. All these bucks are winding down right now. They're really tired, and they've been chasing. There's still some chasing going on now, but they're starting to congregate more on the feed, to whereas in the rut they just ignore the feed and they're just cruising, checking stuff. Now they're starting to come back. You're starting to see bucks together here, especially in the Atlanta area, suburban type stuff. But I got fired up again really during Thanksgiving, really right before I went to Oklahoma. And I've been feeding a certain deer, which is he's a 140s 9-pointer, which is a really big deer for anybody, with a bow. But I wasn't sure if I wanted to chase him this year or not. I thought he would grow, and he didn't grow from last year. So I thought he was going to be bigger this year, but he wasn't. And then Thanksgiving Day, and I'm talking about family at my house. We have Thanksgiving dinner at our house, bunch of family in town, and I'm sitting there kind of a little bit bored, so I'm looking on my phone, and I'm like, whoa, this deer steps in front of my camera, and this is the first time anybody's heard this. He has about 28 inches of shaft sticking right out of his snout, right about 2 inches between his eyes. Somebody had pegged him right in the face, and he's just, you couldn't go up there and place the arrow any more perfect, dead center. And he's walking around, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding. So my first thought was, he's just going to die of infection. I mean, that's the first thing. If he's okay, if he's made it this far, the infection is going to set in. He's going to die. So I'm going to hurry up and run up there and try to hunt him. Well, this deer is the most unpredictable deer that I know. I mean, he is there for one day, gone for 5. There for one day, back for back for 1, gone for 3, gone for 1, back for 6 or 7. I mean, just weird. No pattern to him, no nothing. So it's an hour and 15-minute drive to get to where he's at. And well, family guy, man, got a lot going on. I don't have time to just go sit every afternoon. My wife would kill me if I did that, first of all. So I've got to get a pattern on these deer before I just drive that far, and I just don't have one. So on a whim, I just said, let's just go. So I went self-filming. The first afternoon that I had this deer come by me at 36 yards with this arrow sticking out of his face. And that is about, y'all are gonna think I'm crazy. And anybody listening to this podcast, I'm like, you should have shot. He's probably 10 yards across the line. And I have permission to retrieve on the property, but I don't have permission to kill on the property. So I let him go. And you can hear me on the camera clear as a bell going, no. I've been feeding this deer in a 300-pound Banks feeder for 4 years. I was very confident that he was just going to come broadside, turn, and walk right in. And he didn't. He actually got pushed out by a smaller 8-pointer. And he went on. So long story short, hunted him for 4 days straight. Nothing. Went to Oklahoma. While we're driving to Oklahoma, guess who walks right in front of the camera at 5:20 in the afternoon, just right there. There he is. Like, good grief. The only day that I don't go. So still got the air sticking out of his face. Now he's been walking around for a week and a half with the air sticking out of his face. The next afternoon, this was a neighborhood deer. The next afternoon, I get a text message from the homeowner that his wife just pulled up a Facebook page on the neighborhood and says, just wanted to let everybody know the big buck with the arrow sticking out of his snout just collapsed in my yard and animal control is on the way. And I'm like, that is not the way you want to see a big deer go down. So I was bummed out, and I got up the next morning to go duck hunting on Saturday morning. And lo and behold, here he is walking back in right in front of my camera with no arrow sticking out of his face. I don't know what happened, but I've had him for probably a week now, and he disappeared. Well, I take that back. I've had him for about a week after that. Then he disappeared, and then he just showed back up last night. He's been gone for about 5 days, and honestly, I was starting to think like it's like he might be like either somebody shot him or he's not doing good or something. And he showed up at 10:38 last night on my camera. I wish I could show y'all a picture right now. I would, but he is turning into just withering away. You can see his rib cage, his hip bones, his backbone starting to protrude. 100% infection in his face. Is swollen. He's not gonna make it. So I'm bummed out, man. I'm still gonna try to go, but I mean, I think we're getting down to the last couple weeks of his life, and it's really hard to watch a deer like that. I mean, it's gonna happen, Somebody made a terrible shot, whatever it is. I guess it happens, but you just hate to see it happen, I guess. So
Yep, that's tough. Now, do you think it's like is that area pretty pressured with hunters, or do you think that's just a homeowner trying to do one of those homeowner specials?
No, it's gotten bad, man. It's gotten bad. I know 3 or 4 different hunters. I killed a deer there last year named Gimpy. The episode's up. One of the first ones I dropped last year. And that deer was 156. And the day I killed him and posted him, I think at least 3 right off the top of my head, maybe 4 different people sent me pictures of him. And they had him like in daylight within the last 2 or 3 days of me killing him. And they were hunting. So it's gotten bad. I mean, look, we knew it was going to happen when we started sequencing, 10 years ago, whatever it is now, 9 or 10 years ago. We all looked at each other, me and Lee and Drew, and we were sitting there and we said, you know what? We've only got probably about 3 years before we're going to start losing a lot of deer. And it lasted probably longer than 3 years, but I'd say about the 5th or 6th year after we started sequencing, it got pretty bad. And now, I mean, there's just a lot of people up there shooting 100-inch deer. I mean, 100 to 120-inch deer to a lot of people with a bow and arrows. I mean, that's a really good deer. So you really can't blame them. I get it, but we still got a few good ones walking around. I found a 140-inch deer. I'm pretty happy. I mean, that's a that's a deer of a lifetime with a bow, I think, for a lot of people in Georgia anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of a double-edged sword, right? You wanna share what you're doing because you're proud of what you're doing, but you're like inherently it's going to show what I'm doing and where I'm doing it.
Yep.
So that's pretty tough.
Yep, that goes for any influencer out there. I mean, any social media influencer, YouTuber. I mean, you show your tricks, man. I mean, people are watching, and they're gonna figure it out. Especially public land. You know, the suburban thing. I mean, it's not public, but I mean, anybody can get door knock. So it's gotten pretty bad.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't understand, like how you guys do it. I don't know if it's just too much of an introvert or I'm just sketched out around a lot of people when it comes to like I couldn't imagine
Yes.
deer hunting in those smaller acreages like that where it's like kind of like you were saying about that buck that was just 10 yards over the property. How far in total was he from you?
36, 37 yards is what I got him at.
But he was only 10
Yep,
yards
on the
over the
rangefinder.
property line. See,
That's it. Yep.
does that not ever just stress you out? I mean, I'm sure you did it long enough now where you're kind of like, it is what it is. But I mean, is Georgia a state where you have to get permission to recover or no?
Yes, you do.
See,
So that's another thing. And luckily, like the property that deer was on, I do have permission to recover there.
Mhm.
She was really funny about hunting on the property, so I didn't push the topic when I already had a good spot to hunt. So if I got a good spot to hunt and I can get these deer to come inside the 30-yard range is where they need to be to, on my side, then they're gonna fall on one of the three properties that I have around me. So that's there again, look, you got to make a really, really good shot. This is not, oh, there he is at 35 yards. He's quartered a little bit. Let me put it back on it and just shoot him in the liver and let him come out his shoulder. No, you don't take that shot. You don't shoot a quarter away, which is, you think that's crazy, but I'm telling you, a deer's going to run. You don't shoot him quarter to you for sure. You want a dead broadside, leg forward, 20 yards if you can get it, top of the heart with a mega meat, and you want to watch him tip over, and you better touch it off. So yeah, that stuff can definitely drag you down a little bit. I mean, it really can when you start getting into that. I passed a 180-inch deer. See, that was 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. I passed 180. Well, the best we could put him back together was 180 inches. But I passed him, did the same thing. He bedded down about 20 yards across the property line. I had him at 40 yards. At the closest point that he got, and he walked off. I had seen him 3 times out of 10 sits, and getting really close. I knew I was about to kill this deer, and he got hit by a car like that night, and we found the majority of him. But yeah, probably 180-inch deer. Could have killed him easily, but you just can't do that, man. You can't. It's not right. So I know it sounds crazy. A lot of you were like, "You're crazy." I'd have shot that deer in a heartbeat, but man, this is maybe the old me a long time ago would have thought pretty hard about it, but the new me is like, nah, I ain't doing it, man.
I mean, if you're staring at a 180-inch deer, there's a lot of people that have done a lot worse, like a lot worse situations than just 20 yards over the property line. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
I've been hunting this little piece, like a 24-acre piece, but it's like a long rectangle. It's only like, God, it's like 800 yards long, but it's only like 90 yards wide. And it has been so stressful. It's like a little piece that the deer just go back and forth through from one piece to get to the other one. And when I have them come by, I'm like, dude, if I don't heart shoot this deer, it's going to be on somebody else's place. And everyone around here hunts. And that's stressful. Quarter and two, quartering away. If it's not perfect. I mean, I shot a doe the other day and double lunged her, destroyed her. And I'm like, I hope she didn't go on the other property line. It's really stressful, man.
It really, really is. And that's actually a really big track. I mean, I would feel very confident on that one, but I mean, you're talking about where this deer's at. It's 9/10 of an acre. And then the neighbor is about an acre. That other neighbor is 1.2 acres. The next neighbor is 0.8 acres. So I'm trying to keep everything inside of a 3-acre block. I mean, really. And but I've been very, 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 very blessed over the most of my years of filming with YouTube and stuff in the suburban area, man. And I've seen, I mean, I can just think off the top, the last dude, probably the last 10 deer I've watched them fall. I mean, that's maybe a little bit luck involved too, but I mean, really placing that shot, like this is it. The angle's perfect. Everything is right. Touch it off. And it's just right there, you know, and it's that mega meat really helps a lot too. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I shot a Muzzy broadhead for a long time before I switched to an expandable head. Shot the QADX just for a little bit, and then I switched to the mega meat. And if I had another broadhead in my quiver, I'd probably put a mega meat in there just to get sit in the suburban area just so the deer tips over quicker, because the blood loss is absolutely ridiculous.
So if you're kind of really close quarters, are you shooting a super heavy arrow, or you not really thinking much into that?
No, I'm not into that. I didn't buy into that. Look, man, I killed my first deer with a bow in '91, and so I've got I don't know how many deer I have under my belt. That's very, very high, but I shot 80 pounds for a long time, shooting somewhere between a 380 and 400 grain arrow. I fletched them all with feathers. I shot Muzzy broadheads, Muzzy classics, 3 blades. I killed a lot. I'll just say that I killed a whole lot. So I was very confident to set up. And then as the Ashby stuff started coming, you know, and the heavy arrow and momentum, I played around with it probably just for a little bit, shooting a 470, 480. I don't think I ever got to 500, but I shot definitely in the 470s. And I guess my loss of, you know, my arrows are dropping a lot further at distances. So, you know, shooting a single pin like I used to all the time, I just knew I could float that pin. I knew exactly where to hold it. I just knew my bow real well, but I could hold that pin, kill anything 50 yards or less with one pin with no problem, knowing exactly, oh, that deer's 40 yards. This, you know, hold it right here. That deer's at 50. I can hold it right here. That deer's at 20. Hold it right here. Shooting a flatter arrow was better. So this year in particular, I actually cut down from a 450 down to a 398 is what I'm shooting right now. And that's the new Victory HLR arrow. I really can't remember what I cut them. I actually got one over here somewhere. Yep, one right here. Yeah, this Victory HLR. And I'm actually shooting the Victory veins that came on there because I really like them. That's a nocturnal knot. And this is, I'm pretty sure this is let's see if I can read that without having to read too hard. I don't know.
Reading's not my strong suit either, so it's fine.
I wouldn't lie and say I might not have to have glasses, but I'm getting pretty close. I'm pretty positive this is a 350 is what I ended up going with. But it's a 398 grains with you can put a mega meat on it, put it on a scale. It's 398, and I'm shooting at 304 out of my prime divide 2, which is smoking. Super smooth draw, smoking, and you know, like I said, I probably dropped 50 grains this year, and I'm blowing through everything. I mean, blowing through everything. So right back to what I grew up: light arrow, fast, punch right through them. If you figure out the kinetics, which is kinetic right out of the bow, it's still 82.2 foot-pounds of energy, which is really high. I say that's pretty strong. So
yeah, if you compare them to like what we have today versus, you know, back 20, heck, even 15, 20 years ago or something like that, it's like you can basically use anything and have the same, if not better, efficiency when it comes to being out there in the whitetail woods. But I wanted to ask you, I mean, it's pretty common knowledge now, but just in case, you know, we have a listener that might not know the story. So you were with Seek One, and then you split off and did 4610. Can you kind of give a little brief summary of that?
And we talked about this a good bit. We actually did a podcast on that with Seek One, why I left. I was with Seek One for 5 years, roughly. We started it from scratch. We built it to about 600,000 subscribers when I left. I think it was like 605 when I left. And we had grown quite a bit, obviously. I love Lee and Drew and Kendall. I love them like brothers of mine. Talk to them all the time. We're always here for each other. But I'm a big family man. So at the time, Lee and Drew weren't married and they didn't have kids. You know, Lee just got married. Drew now has a second child, so he's getting a little taste of what me and Kendall dealt with. Really hard for me to travel all the time and go. There's a lot of money involved in that. That's really hard. So also during the season, my son, he's 18 now. He just graduated this past year. that was the heart of him through middle school and high school. I've coached football for 10 years as a defensive assistant coach for his whole 10 years of football. I would never miss a practice, never miss a game. And honestly, if you're going to spend as much time as Sequan does in the woods right now, I mean, you have to spend that much time away from the house. You can't just run back and forth. It's not very easy. So it was a family decision. I knew that it was also something that I could do on my own and hunt with a lot of family and friends and have a good time and just share the word. So that's why I started 4610. And if none of you know what 4610 is, that's Psalm 4610 from the Bible. Be still that I know, and then know that I'm God. That was something that Lee and I actually talked about quite a bit, about being in the woods and being still and giving all the glory to God. Lee and Drew and Kendall were all very, very big Christian people, and most people don't even know where Seek One came from. And that was, Lee and Drew came up with that. And that was, seek one deer, seek one God. And that was Matthew 7:7. Knocking the door shall be open. Seek the door first. So I don't know. But family is the answer to that question. More family time, staying at home, not traveling so much. That's why I started 4610 and kind of put my own little twist on it, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, that's tough. It's tough to be, because shooting big deer is fun. And life is definitely chaotic, especially when we have children. And so it's hard to kind of balance. I guess it's very easy to make it an idol and chase it kind of above all things. But it's tough, because if you want to be good at something, you do have to kind of be obsessed with it. So it's impressive that you can kind of balance the two, because I sure haven't figured that part out. And I'm not shooting nearly as big a deer as you.
Yeah, it is very difficult, but you are right. A lot of people, there's a lot of weekend warriors out there that are, I mean, they get jealous of the whole thing, and like we get bad mouth all the time, and I mean, a lot of false statements are made, and it's really ridiculous. But we put in that much work. I really honestly enjoy the enjoyment of the pursuit and making the scheming and just game planning and doing all that just as much as I do actually getting the shot off. The shot's just the icing on the cake. That's your kind of reward when you do make it all happen. But my wife will tell you, I mean, I'm careful how much I hunt. I don't hunt a whole lot, but I spend a whole lot of time. 75-80% of my time is spent scouting and prepping and just making sure everything is right for that one chance that I do get. I really don't hunt a whole lot. And people think like, man, you hunt all the time. How do you do that? I really, really don't. I spend more time prepping, making sure the stand's perfect, making sure the wind's right, making sure the camera's right. A lot of people say don't hunt off the camera. You can't hunt off the camera. You're not going to know what's on there. You are right. The camera misses an awful lot of stuff. But somebody in my position where family is more, I have to go off my cameras. I have to know when he's in that block of woods, or, it gives me an idea like when I can go and depend on it. So I depend on my cameras more than most people do. I depend on them more than I wish I could. I wish I could not use a camera at all. That'd be fantastic, but I can't afford to do it anymore. So.
The Hunter's Advantage podcast is brought to you by Out on a Limb Manufacturing. I used to be that guy lugging heavy gear down a steep hill after a big buck and regretting it with every single step. But now I use lightweight and dependable gear from Out on a Limb Manufacturing, and it has made a huge difference in my hunting and allows me to get to those hard to reach places. I do a lot of saddle hunting on public land throughout the fall, and a lot of those walks are 1 to 2 miles deep into the mountains. And in those situations, extra weight is not your friend. There's nothing better than walking through the woods and being able to get in any tree that you want. I've been running the Shakar sticks for a long time now, and the Ridge Runner 2.0 platform, and this past year I tried the Flatlander saddle from Out on a Limb as well, and all of that gear is extremely lightweight and comfortable. If you want to support a 100% made in America company, go to outonalimbmfg.com and use code HNTA15 for 15% off at checkout. Once again, that is code HNTA15 for 15% off at outonalimbmfg.com. We trust Out on a Limb products for run and gun hunting anywhere in the country, and we hope that you will too.
Yeah, just having that intel of that camera. I mean, with all the other responsibilities, because I mean, Christian and I talk about this a lot too. It's like if you're sitting out there just waiting for a unicorn, that's when your mind starts turning on, oh, I need to be doing this. I could be doing this. I need to get this done. And then sooner or later, like if you don't have all your ducks in a row when you go hunting, it makes it that much less enjoyable. But so like very few times, unless it's like during the rut or something where, you know, if you push all your things aside, can you say, okay, but you know, it's worth it in the stand? And 95% of the season, at least deer season, it just isn't that way.
No, it's not. And I do exactly what you said all the time. I will sit. I will sit on a set. And if I just don't, I've been like, I need to do, my wife needs me to do that. I need to do this. I need to get the kids over there, and I could be doing this. And he's not going to show. If he's not going to show, then I can spend that time doing that, and I can save my kitchen pass for later. I'm bad. I play, my own head gets in me all the time, man.
So are you big on one of the things that I think kills deer is obviously having options. Are you very big on like access driven, looking for new spots all the time, looking to turn over the next rock, see what's under it? Or are you very like, hey, I have my spots, I'm committed to them, and I want to perfect those? Like, or is it a combination of both those things?
So definitely getting older, right? And I would say 10 years ago with Seek One, and 8 or 9 years ago, whatever, when I was much more adamant about running and door knocking and getting this spot and getting that spot and running cameras everywhere. And now I'm much older and I'm tired. I'm really, really tired. I'm tired of door knocking. I'm really getting tired of the suburban setting type stuff. I'm tired of the chaos that it brings with it. I've got, I don't know, let's just call it 5 spots in the Atlanta area that I will always keep because I really, really, really like my homeowners. Do these spots always have big deer? No. Is there a chance that a 150 could come through? Absolutely. So right now I run permanent sets. I keep these spots. I'm not going to lie. This past year, I was like, I'm starting to worry that I'm not going to have a shooter to put on camera. So there again, being a social media influencer, putting my stuff out there on YouTube, there's quite a bit of pressure that comes with that too. And that's like, okay, Jay has produced a 140-inch deer for the last 10 years. If I don't produce one this year, everybody's going to look down on me. And I'm not going to lie, that fear comes over you. And so like this past year, I was like, I don't know. I don't know if that spot or that spot or that spot's going to produce a 140. I've got to go looking. And I had a spot in my mind that I really wanted to go to. And that's exactly what I did this year. I drove down there. I landed permission on a 17-acre tract, which is huge. Actually, it ended up being 21-acre tract that was really big. Then after getting the 21 and the sign that was on it, I was like, wow, I might have just stepped into something really good. Ended up being a really big 10-pointer with a big split in his ear that I got on camera pretty early, nocturnal, 0 pattern to him. I was like, wow, I really need to get the property behind this. And I was like, there's probably no prayer, but I'm going to try because it was a commercial piece of property. Commercial properties are almost impossible to break into. And this spot in particular, it was like over the course of a month and a half of contacting this company and the people that work for it and the people that work for those people, it was the amount of hoops that I went through was absolutely ridiculous. And then it boiled down to I'm going to go ahead and spill the beans on this one. This one boiled down to, if our insurance guy that has our insurance on this ginormous piece of property says that it's okay for you to hunt, then, and he can get you something that you're covered, that you want a liability, then we'll let you go. And I'm like, great day in the morning. Now after talking to the owner, now I've got to convince some insurance dude to let me hunt on the property. Okay, fine, man. Can you just send me his email or, whatever he contact? He's like, yeah, I'll send it to you. So he sends me an email that I did not recognize. I emailed, and immediately a friend of mine called me and he said, get off my property. And I'm like, what? And it caught me off guard, like bad. And I'm like, what? He's like, you over there snooping around on my property. And I was like, what are you saying? He's like, man, that's all my property. He's an insurance agent and a daggum good one and a commercial one. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. So it ended up being a very, very, very good friend of mine that actually had this place, a contract on it. I mean, a contract with the insurance company. So it's like God just opened the door and was like, all right, here you go. And then, of course, one thing went to the next, man. And before I know it, I landed 140 acres. So I
That's
ended up
awesome.
getting, so that there again, what you said a minute ago is huge for me. Access is huge. I don't care if you're hunting 1 acre. Yeah, I don't care if you're hunting 1 acre or 1,000 acres. Access is one of the biggest keys to killing a good whitetail. And this I really needed. I think it was 120 acres, and then I had the other 20, so I ended up with 140. But I needed the 120 to come in from the south side to put the north wind in my face. I needed that access, so that's what I got. I got my access, and I actually killed him very close to the original property, but I accessed it through the property I needed to get, and that was really what killed that deer. And of course, I called him in and killed him. But yeah, just access is huge, though. Yeah.
I'm sure there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people that's like trying that suburban style hunting. And do you think that's what I guess separates, people not killing a 140 every year versus people that do, is just like the amount of effort you're willing to put yourself through to secure that piece of property? Because I mean, me myself, I'm not a very good negotiator. So I'm just like, I'll go door knock. And if they tell me no, it's like, sorry, I'm not better looking. And I'll turn and walk the other way.
You're right. I think that honestly, I've never seen anybody more persistent and successful as Lee Ellis. I will vouch for him right there. He's a very charismatic guy. If you've never met him, he's one of the friendliest, loving guys you'll ever meet in your life. He'll bend over backwards to help anybody, and that comes out of him when he's door knocking or talking to whoever. He's really, really good at it. He's very adamant about doing it. But that certainly has a lot to do with it. Being yourself, being not scared. Worst you're gonna hear is no. I have been chased down the street before by a couple Karens, but
that's what I was going to ask you. Do you have any like horror stories where that comes to door knocking or maybe getting ran off a property you do have permission to?
Yeah, I can think of a couple right off the top of my head. In fact, here's 3 scenarios right here that are pretty crazy. 2 of them are permissions, and one of them is actually a dead deer. The first one that I can remember, well, you know what? There's another dead deer. I've never told this before, but I'm going to tell it because it's pretty sad. So I did a job on a house one day, and I trapped coyotes and bobcats and raccoons and possums and squirrels and rats, and that was my forte for a very long time. I owned a nuisance wildlife trapping business for 16 years, so it allowed me to get good contacts. One day I got a contact. Lady had squirrels in her attic and wanted me to come check it out. She backed up to a good lot, and I was like, ma'am, don't really care about hunting it a whole lot, but you got a bunch of big does in your backyard they were bedded down in a bamboo thicket. And I said, I needed the meat to donate to a church that I was trying to help some needy folks with, just like I'm about to do this coming weekend after Christmas. And she said, oh yeah, I see them out there all the time. Get them all. And I'm like, great. So I go out in the back, and I grab my bow and I slip around the back of the house and I ease up behind this, this wood pile, and came out behind this shed. And I'm like, all right, there's a big doe right there, 20 yards. Pulled a bow back, and this is a meat mission is what this was. Smoked her, like shot her pretty good. Perfect, right crease of the shoulder, right behind the shoulder. She takes off running and jumps over a fence that I didn't think she would have jumped over, and disappears. Okay, so I've got to go ask permission to get this dead deer, this laying somewhere behind somebody else's house. Well, to get to it, I had to drive around another street to get to a cul-de-sac and knock on this one door. I saw the blood trail. I couldn't see her, but I'm like right at that 60-yard range, and I'm like, she's got to be right there. And the blood trail was going straight to a creek. She's dumping it. I know she didn't go 60 yards. So, but I just couldn't see around. So I went around this cul-de-sac, knocked on the door. Lady comes to the door, and I'm like, introduce myself, and I'm like, hey, I'm a deer hunter in the area. And I mean, I don't even think I got that out. And it was like, get off my front, get out, back up. Like I was trying to do something to her, And I'm like, ma'am, I've come to you very polite. I'm asking a hunt in the area. if I shoot a deer and it falls on your property, she had a strip, like you said, you hunt rectangle. If it falls on that rectangle, do you mind if I, drag it out of there, buddy? Here comes the cell phone, video mode. I'm calling the cops. So she's on speakerphone calling the cops, and I'm like, ma'am, I'm just asking if I can retrieve a deer if it fell on your property. Absolutely not. I'm like, okay, there's a dead deer on your property. Can I retrieve it? I just said no. I'm like, ma'am, no, there really is a dead deer on your property that just died on your property. Can I please retrieve it? Because if I don't, then there's going to be a dead, rotting deer behind your house. And she literally chased me down the driveway so bad that I ended up calling the law enforcement myself because how bad she was being. Straight to my truck. The law enforcement officer, I told him what I was doing. He's like, man, don't worry about it. It was a deputy that called me back while I was waiting. She got that bad. And I ended up getting in the truck and leaving. And I called DNR, called the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, told them what happened, told them where the deer was. And because I felt awful. I mean, I do everything I can to recover a deer. I don't want a deer going to waste. And he said, Jay, all I can tell you is she won't give you permission. I'm not anywhere near you. Just leave the deer there. And I mean, I'm like, are you serious? To this day, that's the only deer that I know that I've ever had to leave. And I felt absolutely awful about it. But what do you do? I mean, she had the right to not let me come on her property. And she was definitely being that person at the time. So,
I mean,
yeah, lost that one.
I get people exercising their rights, like,
Yeah.
but you got to think, like, hey, listen, this is for food. Let's take a step back. Like, is it? I mean, probably weren't raised around it. I can understand it from that viewpoint, but it's like to a certain point, what's done is already done. Let's just move on from here.
Yep. She didn't have to act that way. I mean, it was awful. I mean, awful. I mean, if you can imagine some of those liberals that you see on the, on the news channels that are doing the wacky stuff. I mean, she's right in there, buddy. I mean, right in there. I was mind blown. I was mind blown that I was actually speaking to a human that could talk to another human that way. Because I didn't grow up that way. You love on everybody, I mean, that was the way I grew up. And that was not what was happening at all. It was absolutely awful. Another one, we had a Seek One episode to where we didn't even put it out. It was so bad, but I shot a deer. I had a broke arm and I was crossbow hunting, and I shot a 144-inch 8-pointer that had been hit by a car that was my target deer for the year. And he was crippled really bad. We got permission to hunt several different houses trying to put him down. I made a great shot, 40 yards. We filmed the whole thing, and the deer runs and dies in a street that goes to the neighborhood pool that had just let out a homeowners association meeting. And there were, where the deer ran out in the street, turned around and fell, was probably in front of about at least 20 people. Inside 50 or 60 yards, I'd say. They watched the deer die, and I felt pretty bad on that one. But long story short, I called law enforcement again. I called DNR. The deer actually fell on public property. So he said, man, load the deer up and bring it over here and let me look at it. And I was like, man, there's 3 women, and they're hot. By this time, Drew and I had gotten the deer and drug it to the truck. Lee is standing in front of the truck talking to these 3 women with their children, and they are ripping him apart. And we were like, man, you're doing such a good job. We left him. Drew and I literally left Lee standing in the street talking to these women, and we took that deer and took off. But of course, we made everything legal before we did it. But that was a pretty fun. That was a funny one right there for sure. And then I had another one where a guy, he threatened my life pretty bad. Actually, I've had my life threatened twice. One, the guy was going to his house to get a gun to put a bullet in my head, and I'll just leave it at that. I had to call the cops on him. That was a really bad one. And then another one, if I didn't get in my truck, this guy would have probably beat me to death. And I don't think I could have done anything with this guy. He was huge. And he said, I knocked on the door. I backed up like I always do. I always back down the steps, or I back up off the door a good ways to let whoever there know that I'm presenting myself. And nothing. Knock one more time. Nothing. Usually 2 knocks. I walk back to the truck. I might leave a card on the mailbox. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. And this one right here, I was walking back. No, I had just knocked the second time, backed up, and a guy walks around the corner of the house. This is a very rough neighborhood, so that's all. I'm gonna leave it at that. But he walked around the corner of the house and dropping the worst words you could possibly think of out of your mouth, saying that I was threatening the lives of his family and that he was going to kill me. And I went to the truck pretty quick on that one. But I was trying to talk to him like, man, what? Hold on a second. I'm a nice guy. I'm just asking permission, and he didn't want to hear it. I don't think he heard anything I said, actually. And I got in my truck and left that one pretty quick.
How big does the deer have to be for you to fight a guy like that?
Yeah. Not even. I'm too old for that mess, man. No way.
I don't understand it. I don't understand why someone would put themselves through that. I get it, big deer, but I mean, I got a private piece that I can hunt, but where I have to park, it's on a pretty busy road, and I can't. It almost upsets me the amount of times like I'm at the truck just trying to get my gear on as fast as I can. That way, no one comes up beside me. Hey, how you doing? What are you doing, man? I've seen a buck here, there, and it's like, listen, I just want to go hunt and enjoy this, and it's like, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but just to that little minute extent compared to like stuff that you got to deal with, it's just, I don't know. I guess it's all perspective, but I give you props.
Yeah. No, and there's some spots certainly that I have. I got one in particular right now that I did keep, and it's a spot that you got to go ahead and have your stuff on. When you park the truck, you get out, you go around to the other side, you get your stuff out of the passenger seat, and you get in the woods. You don't put stuff on at the back of the truck. You don't take your time. You got to go. You got to move. So, but when I tell you though, I'm really getting tired. I'm getting really tired. I really am. I'm tired of doing stuff like that. I keep coming back to it because the quality of deer that are in the Atlanta area. Look, if you don't, number one rule to killing a large deer with a gun, bow, I don't care what you're shooting it with, you have to hunt where they live. So I can go spin my wheels on properties all over, big woods, thousands and thousands of acres. And I may be able to find a deer like that, but there's just more of them in an area that's pinched down and that doesn't get hunted very much because there are a lot of non-hunters and the genetics are ridiculous in some of the areas I have. I mean, I got a 2-year-old on camera this year has got 19 points. 2-year-old.
Oh my gosh.
I'm dead serious. I wish I could throw that up there right here, but I'm dead serious. And that I've been hunting my whole life, man. And there's very few areas that have genetics like they do in the Atlanta area. I'll just say that. I don't know why. That is funny because one of the guys in the truck earlier with me when we were looking at this piece of property, he said, "What in the world? How do y'all get those deer to grow up there like that? They feed thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of protein every year to get that, and we don't feed anything." And I was, of course, my common answer, my answer that I go to every time is fertilizer, man. 100% the fertilizer.
Oh, for all the lawns and everything like that. Yeah.
Dude, all the lawn care making all the pansies grow, I don't know what it is, man. I don't. But there's some absolute giants. There's still some hammers up there. My goal every year is to find a 140-inch deer, and I've been pretty good with that since 2007.
Yeah, Christian's neighborhood's pretty good. It's just surrounded by 13-foot tall fences.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Being down in Texas,
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the suburban deer, dude. Well, one of the things, if you can go to a very rural place and every corner of every property has a tree stand or a box blind or something on it, and deer struggle to get maturity in a place where they have plenty of food and plenty of cover and plenty of everything else because everybody's hunting. And then you get some of these urban places where nobody hunts and you get freaking huge deer. So a big deer down here where I'm at in Central Texas would be 120, 130 inches. It's a really big deer down here. It is. Yeah. I had this guy that lives literally in the middle of town in Austin, and he sends me this the other day. I don't know if you can see that.
I can't see it pop up.
Oh, it didn't pop up for you?
I see it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's close to 160-inch 8-point. And I'm like, he said, yeah, I can feed this one by hand. I'm like, you're making me sick. Like I would chase that deer all around town, but they just get to maturity and they just get big. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot what it is. I mean, they're a lot of these deer. I mean, I can take you tomorrow afternoon, and we can sit on one of my number one spots. We'll see somewhere between 20 and 30, and I'll show you probably 10 bucks. And a lot of them, I mean, I'll probably show you 5 around the 100-inch range, and I may have a 120 or 125 come in for sure. Just had a deer. I just sat there a few days ago where this deer got shot in the face, and I'm hunting for him, and this out of nowhere, never had him on camera, just walking by, and I called him, and he turned and came right in there and fed around. 125-inch deer with a big split G2 on one side, just beautiful tall tines. I was like, fantastic. So next year, maybe he'll do the same thing and he'll be 140 inches. I don't know.
The Hunter's Advantage podcast is brought to you by Numa Outdoors. Growing up, I remember waddling around the woods looking like the Michelin Man and still freezing my butt off. But thanks to Numa Outdoors, those days are over. It's not just about staying warm. When I go out hunting, I need to know that I have gear for every single thing the woods might throw at me, whether it's heat or rain or cold. Numa Outdoors offers quality gear for every pursuit. If you're looking for quality garments backed by a lifetime warranty, make sure to go to numaoutdoors.com and use code HA20 for 20% off at checkout. Whether we're chasing whitetails here in the South or we're headed out west to get after some bugling bulls, we trust Numa Outdoors, and we hope you will
too. Yeah. Well, kind of taking a step back, you said earlier that you do most of your time out in the woods is for scouting and stuff to make your time more efficient, right? So
yeah, for sure.
Right now, I feel like would be a good time just because either everybody's already tagged out or maybe have a little bit of that burnout. Is right now a pretty good time to pick up properties or?
Yeah, you absolutely nailed it with the burnout. A lot of people burn out. There's a lot of duck hunters out there now, get the duck boat and go do the Duck Dynasty thing. So the woods are definitely not as loaded down as they were, but you also got the deer coming to the feed too. So you kind of hitting the best of both worlds. The deer fixing to transition back into their summer areas. So deer that you had in July and August, you'll have in January, which we can hunt through the very, very end of January 31st. Extended archery seasons here in Georgia. So I love it. I love hunting with no leaves on the trees. You can see a long way. It's cold. I'm still old school. I love to kill a doe and hang her up in the tree outside of my house for a couple days, and let her just bleed out and makes the taste. I mean, I don't even process any of my meat until this time of the year. So yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite times of the year for sure. We still got bucks chasing too. I mean, I just had a buddy of mine kill one a few days ago off one of my spots, and he was ranked, man. I mean, he was definitely cruising when he killed him for sure.
Man, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there might be a young doe or something that might around here, but it's pretty dried up here. Like their food base, like you can kind of see, at least on camera wise, like all the bucks are kind of starting to congregate. Now, I don't know if that's due to food sources or whether they're just being buddy now after trying to tear each other up all year. But yeah, seems like it's polar opposites here.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting there. I mean, they're starting to group up a little bit more. They'll tolerate each other a little bit more now, but you'll still. I mean, look here, man. Everybody talks about the first rut, second rut, third rut, all this stuff, and I mean, it's just does coming in heat at different times. The majority of them are that mid-November for us, Thanksgiving time. Well, anywhere from really Halloween to Thanksgiving. I mean, it's off and on pretty heavy, but look, I mean, every time you got a full moon, man, you still have some does come in all the way through January, and I will see chasing 100% in January, 100%.
That's
awesome.
Cool.
So yep. I'm curious when you talk about hunting, these spots that are less than an acre, and then you're getting another piece that's, less than an acre, and then another putting it all together for like 3 acres. Are these bucks core area like smaller, or is it you're just hunting a very small portion of that buck's core area?
Yeah, I'm hunting a small portion of it. So let's just say, and I'm going to use that one example of that spot that I just talked about with the 20 deer that you can go see tomorrow with the 7 or 8 bucks. None of those deer really live in sight of where I'm at, and I can see probably 150 yards in all directions. These deer are living on state, like all right, I have a huge park not far from there. So a lot of those deer on that park. There's certain areas like the HOA areas that nobody ever goes into. The deer live there. Funny enough, I mean, the common areas like the swimming pools, a lot of times that'll be like a 5-acre tract, and the pool will take up 1 acre. So there's 4 acres of thick woods and stuff. They'll bed up in there. And this area is a transition. So it's 3 different fingers that intersect right in the backyard of the house that I have. And I've gotten 3 or 4 different tracks right there all together. One in particular that sets up for the right wind. So I concentrate on that. I put a feeder up on it a couple years ago to just really bring them in there good. But you can sit right there and have deer come from 3 different directions. And I can literally see 17 houses from that one spot when the leaves are off the trees. And there's that many deer.
Is there ever a situation with a buck where you're like, hey, this is a big enough buck where I'm willing to kind of get the knuckles warm again, knocking on doors and trying to backtrack him? Or is it you're mainly like, hey, I'm kind of playing it in my permission and just going to play it right, hunt the right winds, be disciplined, wait till he shows up where I'm at? Or do you ever backtrack him and try to get more to get closer to him?
Yeah, no, if it was a bigger deer, like something that made like let's just call it a 70 or better. And I put a pattern together where I'll 100% will try to get closer to his bed and try to cut somebody else off, or that. And that's unfortunately in the suburban area in Atlanta, that's what it's come down to. You would have to probably cut him off to get a shot at him before somebody else did, before they jack it up or shoot him in the face. I mean, you never know. So no, I would 100% if I needed to. I prefer not to do it much anymore, but if I needed to, I would for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's got his number.
Yeah.
Big enough. You'll fight that one guy for a 250. You got to.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I'm still a killer, man. I still like to chase them, and I'll do what I got to sometimes to put myself in the right spot. And if I need to go knock another door and get told no, I'm fine with that, or, that one door could lead to a 170-inch deer. So you're not going to know until you ask.
So is it pretty freeing when you come out to a place like the Midwest? There's lots and lots of acres, deer doing what deer actually, normally do in a non-suburban environment. Is that pretty relaxing for you, or is that not how you prefer to do it?
I don't know about relaxing. I absolutely love, I grew up in the big woods, so I'm used to it. I've killed public land. Midwest, Illinois, public land. I've killed a 155 public, a 175 public, a 192 number Illinois number 9 typical back in 2009. I love chasing. Out west, I just love the amount of animals that are there. If I lived out there, I'd probably be in trouble. But because obviously you can see a lot better out there than you can here, man. You can't see them, but I do love traveling and bow hunting and whatnot. So man, I love chasing free range. I'm not out of my comfort zone at all. I'm right in the wheelhouse. I'm good with it.
So if it wasn't for whitetail, what would be your next up to bat, that something you would chase every single year?
Well, I've already killed a bull elk, and I killed him on public land as well. I killed him in the White River National Forest and just out of Basalt, Colorado. Chased him, caught him in, killed him, did my thing. I think elk hunting is probably top tier. I've hunted 3 times. I've been a part of two big elk kills, one of myself, one of a buddy of mine. My first trip, it was a guided trip that my dad bought through a Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation banquet, and I could have thrown the guide off the mountain if I didn't respect my elders, but I do respect my elders, so I didn't throw him off the mountain. That was about how that one turned out. But no, I love elk, man. I love chasing elk. I'll tell you something I did fall in love with, though, that I'd never, ever thought in a million years I would. I had the opportunity to go to Africa back in 2018 and fell in love with it. I'm a big saltwater fisherman too. Like, I'm actually a captain, an ex-captain. So I love the ocean. I love catching fish. And, when you go saltwater fishing, you don't really know what you're going to catch, right? You just kind of go out there and you can target species, don't get me wrong. But when you're dropping down like a bottom rig offshore, you don't know whether you're going to catch a snapper or a grouper or, what might come up. And to me, Africa was the same way. Like you sit in the blind or you start spot and stalk. You don't know what you're going to see next. I mean, you might see a little diker or a springbuck might come out, or you go out, an impala might come out. It's just so much fun to me. So I fell in love with Africa, man. And I'll be headed back in 2027. I absolutely just love it.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's
Oh, go
not
ahead.
normal. Like you go whitetail hunting, you're like praying to see a coyote to get some diversity. You know, you're not
That or a hog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
And
pretty.
y'all were talking about hogs earlier, and yes, I love hog hunting too, man. I do. I'm about to get back on it because I got some starting to show up right now and starting to crawl under my skin. I love plugging the fletchings up in a hog. So
Oh, dude, that's the best.
You want to talk about something that I can't get a short track job on? You know, like I don't care. They can be 10 yards, you know, completely broadside, but for some reason I always lose an arrow. Like it'll just stick in them and it'll just shish kebab and they'll just run off. And it's like, where do I need to put you? Because like I've tried it with the heavy arrow, I've tried it with light arrow, fixed blades,
Yeah.
expandables, and it's like, dude, I can't successfully kill something like kill a hog with a bow and like actually find it. I don't know what it is, but we only have about 60 of them just to practice on. But you know, it is
Oh my
what it
God.
is.
I love hogs, man. I'm getting to the point right now where I'm about to really start concentrating on my hogs again.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, they're
Well,
bad. I shot a big sow the other day. Dude, what I love is when you're walking through briar thickets, like it's like it covers up their eyes so they don't know what's going on around them. Shot one, then they came underneath the fence, and then the big sow came in, shot her too. Then the piglets were so small I couldn't shoot them through the briars. They were just like zooming all around. I was like, oh crap! Pull back, trying to shoot them too. There's not a better practice target than a pig.
I love the chaos. It's just fun.
all those little piglets squirming around. But no, like speaking of your, you know, your elk and your Africa stuff, like I feel like there's a lot of people that's so whitetail focused they don't realize exactly what all hunting has to offer. And it's like their adventure. Now, everybody's all different, but like their adventure is walking out 300 yards to their stand or their, you know, their redneck blind, and it's like them seeing a coyote or, you know, a deer, or, you know, maybe a bobcat runs out. Like that's their whole definition of adventure. And I'm not knocking it. I say that just for what it is, but it's like you go to Africa and you experience all that stuff, and it's like it isn't dull sitting out in the woods, but like that sense of adventure is like kind of gone. So it's almost like you need to upgrade that with like chasing the most mature experienced deer out there. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. It does. Yeah. I love diversity. And I've been traveling for I'm a huge turkey hunter. So I've been traveling for a long time, just turkey hunting. And there's nothing better to me than just traveling and meeting new people and seeing new places and new habitat and learning new terrains and how to move and how not to move. It's just fun. So much fun to me. Just all of it.
Yeah, turkey season's a great time to go find you a good deer hunting spot. I love it.
It really is. Yeah.
I'd never kill a turkey, so it's really just a scouting mission.
I love it, man. I'd probably rather chase a turkey than anything else, just about.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, man, we appreciate you doing this. It's fun connecting with you. If we're ever in your neck of the woods, we got to do something in person. But man, thank you for giving this. Yeah, giving us some of your time. And if people from our audience want to connect with you, watch some of your hunts that you got coming up on the channel soon, where's the best place for them to do that?
Yeah, 4610 Productions, YouTube, best place to go. And my Instagram, you can pull up J Maxwell 4610 right there and pull up and just kind of follow up with what's going on, and you'll know when new episodes are dropping. But 4610 Productions YouTube, that's where to go. So I appreciate anybody that watches, and hopefully you'll learn a little bit and help you chase after God a little bit more too. So that's what it's about.